Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. This is the height of summer camp season for boys and girls. Camps are a summer tradition that often bring a lifetime of memories, and one camp in particular is part of today's Flashback Friday segment. In our 60th anniversary archives, we found an interview with actress Stephanie Zimbalist. The interview was filmed at Brown Ledge Camp in Mallett's Bay in Colchester. Zimbalist told former Across the Fence producer Lynn Jarvis how her experiences at Brown Ledge Camp led to a career in acting.
It's my sincere pleasure to introduce one of the most talented and versatile actresses in the business today. She's Stephanie Zimbalist, makes her home in Los Angeles, California. And Stephanie, it's good to have you with us.
Thank you. It's certainly nice to be here.
What brings you to Brown Ledge Camp here in Vermont?
Well, I was, this particular weekend, which we're shooting now in August, we have an alumni reunion every other summer, and this is one of the summers that we all come back. And so I'm here with my bunkies and my friends, and past and present, and we all get together and we water ski and we have a wonderful time, and we bring our camp clothes and have a grand old time.
Speaking of camp clothes, the t-shirt you're wearing has an interesting history. Would you tell us about that?
Well, they made this t-shirt up in like many years ago, when I was 14, not that many years ago. And we always kept them, all of us, various campers. And I was going through one of my boxes about to chuck the whole thing, and I tried it on, and now the size is very trendy. You know, it used to be very big on me, and now it's perfect. So I had about 5 of them, and I sent 2 to my bunkie Alina for her daughters, and 2 to my bunkie Lori, who lives in Europe, for her daughter, and saved 1. But this is actually, it's not a bad fit for that long ago.
Stephanie, while doing research for our interview today, I read that one of your favorite childhood memories is being here in Vermont at Brown Ledge Camp. What made camp so special for you?
It's a unique place, Brown Ledge. It's they call it the Freedom Plan, and each camper that goes here, we stay in our own cabins, no counselors, no junior counselors, and there are about 15 activities to do, but you choose what you want to do, and usually what motivates campers is what your bunkies are doing. Mm-hmm. So it's a kind of a peer pressure. So you'll have one camper go out and say, I'm going to the tent. Oh wait, I want to come too. And where you go? You're kidding, you got your intermediate? Well, I'm going to get my intermediate. And so it's a kind of it's a healthy competition. And the founder of the camp, HEB, which is Barbara Winslow's father, Mr. Brown, believed that freedom comes hand in hand with responsibility. And so if you're given freedom to move around like this, there are certain responsibilities that you take for it. And so we became very independent young ladies at a very young age, which really benefited all of us in our college years, in our professional careers, and in our personal lives. All of the women that I know that have gone to Brown Ledge are very unique, strong, caring, and loving people, but they have a tremendous sense of freedom and what it means, and tied in hand with responsibility.
What were some of the activities that you and the other young ladies participated in?
Oh, I don't know, we call ourselves young ladies. You can if you like.
It's all this pressure on getting to be politically correct these days.
Yeah, well then it wouldn't be young ladies, would it? There are, as you can hear, there's lots of waterfront activities. There's water skiing and sailing, and of course this is one of the most beautiful places to learn how to sail. Yes. Did I learn how to sail? No. I was in the theater. This is where I started to act.
Really?
Was here.
Mm-hmm.
The fellow that runs the theater, Richard Curry, is one of the founding members of the Theater of the Ridiculous in New York, which is Charles Ludlam's group. And so when you do theater here, whether you're 10 or 17 or 18 or whatever, it's professional theater. It's very, I also feel especially attached to Brown Ledge because my chosen field was, for me, was born here. Right. So it's very, you know, it means a lot, the theater here, and coming back and seeing and supporting.
Well, it's a really good story, and I couldn't think of a better place to spend the summers up here.
Oh, it's
beautiful.
It's the greatest.
Do you mind if we spend a little time talking about your family and your career now?
No, okay. I'll probably throw in Brown Ledge anyway.
You have several generations of performers in your family, going back about 4 generations, you told me. Is that right?
Yeah, it's about 4. It's probably much more than 4. I only know back to my great-grandfather, Alexander, who was a conductor in Rostov.
And then your grandfather, Ephraim Zimbalist.
Yeah, violinist. Yeah.
And what do you remember about him?
Oh, I remember him very well. Grandpa was born in, it's debated because the calendar was different in Russia at the time, but he was either born in 1889 or 1890. It says 1890 on the tombstone, but it's thereabouts. And he died when I was 30, so I knew him very well. Unique human being. Probably my favorite person on the planet.
Really?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a nice compliment.
Yeah, and a glorious human being. When he was born in Rostov, his family had the first light bulb. And when he died, we had already put a man on the moon and developed computers, and so he saw quite the change. Yeah.
And your father, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., didn't pursue music, but became an actor.
Did.
Oh, did he? Did
Oh,
he
yeah.
as well?
Grandpa, Daddy, he was Dean of Students at Curtis, and while he was Dean of Students, he studied composition. And he's written fugues, and one of the pieces that, actually this is airing 2 days before his birthday, so it's November 28th, and his birthday's on the 30th. But he wrote a sonata for violin and piano that is exquisite. It's been recorded twice, and it's most beautiful. So he was a producer in New York with Chandler Coles. They were the first producers to bring opera to Broadway way before Andrew Lloyd Webber and the likes. And they brought Giancarlo Manotti's operas, The Medium and The Console and The Telephone, to New York. He has a varied background.
Coming from a family of performers, was there ever any doubt in your mind that you wouldn't become an actress? Did you ever think about being other things?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. My mother had, she had already been a rider, a horsewoman, before Brownledge. But after Brownledge, she was asked to be on the Canadian Olympic women's team, and she declined. So she had it all set that I was going to be a rider, which is why I was sent to this camp.
Learn to be a writer.
Yeah, I was writing a lot, and this is where I discovered acting.
I read also in preparing for the interview that in your high school, some of your friends thought you were a shy person. And I wondered if that is the case, to get up on stage and perform or be in front of a camera, is it difficult? No?
No. You know, I always think of the irony that Shakespeare had his theater on the south side of the Thames, because in those days, actors were not allowed to partake of society. They had to be kind of on the outskirts of it, and being on the outskirts, they had to look at society through a longer lens, as it were, and they had to pull back and look. And I really think that that's where the artist should be, is observing. And you can't really be in a position to observe if you're smack in the middle of it. So I never minded being shy, because you're off in the corner watching everybody.
You probably are best known for your portrayal of Laura Holt in the NBC TV series Remington Steele, which was during the seasons 1982 through 87. And incidentally, that's being rerun on the Family Channel on Sunday nights, so people will get to see that all over again. What was it like being involved in a series that had many, many deadlines and learning a new script every week?
Well, actually, not to tie Brownledge so beautifully into this, Brownledge was a perfect training for television, because what we do here in the theater is every week we put on a series of 3 one-acts. And so you'll be cast in it on Monday. You start rehearsals that afternoon. You have 1 performance, and it's Saturday night, and it's over. So in that week, that short time, you have to learn very fast your part and blah, blah, blah. And so I was very used to that kind of thing, and it was perfect training. I mean, when I did Stop the World, it was a riot. We did it for A&E television last year, and everybody's shaking and quaking because we have 8 days to do full choreography, full blocking, full everything. And on the 9th day of rehearsal, which was then in Muskegon, it was our first time with wigs, first time with costumes, first time with props, first time with radio mics, First time on the set, first time with quick changes. First time doing the piece through without stopping. First time with the orchestra. First time with 1,800 people watching, and first time with 8 cameras rolling. And everybody's going, oh my God! And it was, well, we did this at Brown Ledge all the time. It was a piece of cake, so. So actually the theater here is is perfect for the rhythms of television. And the rigors, it's perfect. So you learn it, you do it, boom, let's go.
Stephanie, you recently finished a run at the Coronet Theater in Los Angeles, starring in the premiere of A.R. Gurney's Sylvia. It's a play about a man and his dog, and I understand that you've played the dog. How do you prepare for a role like that?
There were a couple of things in this particular production of Sylvia that kind of were celestially guided, let's say. I've always had dogs. When I left my parents' house, when I was turning into an adult, they had 11 dogs at the time. Thereabouts, 9 or 11. I had a little white dog named Dippy, who was my angel in my heart, and she traveled with me everywhere. She went on 50 airplane rides with me, and many theater and film productions, and Dippy was known by hundreds of people. And 3 weeks before we were to start rehearsals for this last summer's tour of Sylvia, she was attacked and killed by a coyote in my backyard, almost in front of my eyes, and it ripped my heart out, and it destroyed me, and it was most terrible. But she wanted me to do this, so she said, Stephanie, you go on and play me and do a good job. So I did the tour last summer, and at the same time I was taking this yoga class, and dogs move, they have a lot of yoga moves. So Dippy was watching from above, and it was really from the heart that I did it, but it was very physical, extremely physical, on the knees, on the hips, and we're not meant to really move like dogs, but I did anyway, in high heels on a rake.
Wow.
So it was great, very cathartic, and it was a real tribute to my little angel.
Yes,
who was
it
in
was.
heaven. So
The timing sort of blended there.
Yeah, it was.
Stephanie, which do you enjoy most, playing real-life characters or fictional characters?
I like watching. You know, I've done a lot of television movies. I've done
yes.
over 30 or something, and I've always enjoyed the stories that are fiction more than the ones that are based. I'm not that interested in the ones that are based on a real, because you can watch the news. You know, it's more fun to create a character.
What are some of the favorite roles that you've done?
I loved playing Sylvia on stage. Unfortunately, a lot of the things that I've done, my favorites are on stage. There was a piece that Linda Pearl and I did. It was written for us by Jane Anderson, called The Baby Dance. And Linda and I and Richard Lineback and John Bennett Perry and Joel Polis played this at LA at the Pasadena Playhouse, Williamstown, Long Wharf in New York for a 2-year period. And that was near and dear to my heart. That was a great, rewarding, challenging thing. I played this thing with Joanna Kearns on CBS. It was called, they always change the titles in these things. Something about Who'll Keep My Daughter or something like that, and was it 2 mothers and they're fighting over the kid, and it was kind of fun. It was a really good part to play. It was a great pleasure also to work with Jimmy Stewart.
Really?
I was in Jimmy's last movie. I played his granddaughter, Kelly. He has a real daughter in real life named Kelly, and that was a great experience.
What are some roles that were more difficult for you to play?
There are no hard roles.
More strenuous or more physical, something that really you had to really work harder at?
We work hard at everything we do, so it's,
Well said.
you know, the hardest part of being an actress is being unemployed. Being employed is a piece of cake. It's just easy as pie. It's what we love to do. It's standing, you know, waiting for the phone to ring that is grievously agonizing.
Waiting for that next part to come along.
Yeah.
Stephanie, in conclusion, since we're here at Brown Ledge Camp, we've been talking about a lot of the activities here. What would your advice be to young women who are thinking about making acting a career?
It's good to study, but and important, but you have to do, and you have to get up on a stage. So generally I'd say that. I'd just say find a way to perform, you know, And go to the right parties is terribly important.
Well, thank you very much, Stephanie Zimbalist. It's been a real pleasure to meet you, hear about Brown Ledge Camp, your family, and your career. And we hope we'll be seeing you again real soon on the stage or the screen. And I'm Lynn Jarvis, and from Stephanie and me and all of us here at Brown Ledge Camp, we thank you for watching.